like to invite on stage now the chairman of the British Chamber of Commerce in Turkey, Chris Gaunt, to join me for the next award. Chris, you're welcome.
Well, this is a great honour for me, particularly for a lady who has the reputation that Elif has. She represents the true Turkey. You've all been reading in the media about Turkey. It's been getting a lot of bad press over the last 6 to 9 months, some justified, some not. But the real Turkey is reflected in the way Elif writes and how she represents Turkey from a female point of view. And we want to continue to see that sort of writing, that sort of communication with the rest of the world, not just for Turkey, but worldwide for women. Elif is a great representative. For those that have not read any of Elif's books, you should, because it's quite moving and it's quite motivating at the same time. So I couldn't think of a more deserving lady to represent Turkey at this particular event and be part of the GTF. She's a wonderful lady, and I want you all to congratulate her for this award that she's going to receive this evening. Thank you.
The Global Thinkers Forum 2016 Award for Excellence in Gender Equality is awarded to Elif Shafak. Elif Shafak is an award-winning novelist, women's rights and LGBT rights advocate. She writes in both Turkish and English and has published 15 books, 10 of which are novels. Her novels have been published in 47 languages, and she has been featured in major newspapers and periodicals around the world. Please welcome on stage world-acclaimed author and activist Elif Shafak.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy and very honored to be here in such wonderful company today. I come from a country where words are heavy and where every journalist, every academic, scholar, novelist, poet knows that because of a poem, because of an article, because of a novel, because of a tweet or a retweet, you can get into trouble very easily. You can be lynched in social media, you can be demonized in pro-government papers, you can be sued, you can be put on trial, sometimes exiled or imprisoned. But at the same time, it's a country where words matter, where stories matter. And interestingly, most of readers, definitely most fiction readers, are women. And these women, they not only read books, they share books. So one copy is not owned by one single individual, it's shared among, groups of friends. They read a book, they send it to their aunt sends it to her son, and on and on. So as a writer, you feel very honored and very humbled because you become part of the family. Of course, I'm interested in stories as a storyteller, but I'm also interested in silences, the things we're not able to say or we're not allowed to say. So I'm interested in taboos as well, in political taboos, cultural taboos, sexual taboos. I like to ask questions. Why is it like that? And leave the answers to the readers. And I'm interested in gaps, the gaps, cultural gaps, social gaps, cognitive gaps that separate us into different categories of us versus them. And why is that? And I'm also interested in the gap between the public and the private space. I have many readers in Turkey who come from very diverse backgrounds. Some of these people, many of these people, are very xenophobic. If you ask their opinion about Armenians or Jews or other minorities, they won't tell you very positive things. But then they come to me on a book signing day and then they say, you know what, I read your novel and I cried when that character suffered. And maybe that character is Armenian, maybe that character is Jewish. I have many homophobic readers in Turkey who are publicly very biased against sexual minorities, but then again they come and they say, you know, I'm most associated in this book with this particular character, and maybe that character is bisexual or gay or transsexual. So I've often wondered, how does this happen? People who are less tolerant in the public space, how is it that when they're reading a novel, they become relatively a little bit more open to welcome the other into their own universe? How does that happen? And I don't think it's a coincidence, because when we read a novel, we retreat into our inner space. Fascism, totalitarianism, these are mass diseases. You need collectivities, you need masses. As human beings, we are affected by each other's energy. Energy is contagious. But when we are alone, relatively, we are more ready to abolish that difference between us versus them. I think we're living in turbulent times, dangerous times. Those of us who come from the Middle East know this much better. And we are being pulled in very different directions. On the one hand, there's isolationism, tribalism, more xenophobia, more bigotry. And on the other hand, those of us who believe in the value of cosmopolitanism. And again, I come from a country that has lost a lot by losing its cosmopolitanism. I'm not talking about economic loss. I think we lost a lot in our conscience. And I wouldn't want Europe to make the same mistake that we have made in Turkey. So in my opinion, there are two types of roads in front of us. There are bridge builders and bridge burners. And hopefully we will be among those who will be building bridges. Thank you.